Hello,
Hey.
everyone. We're back. It's Friday. We are starting a cult. We are back for a new
No,
episode.
it's true. It's spooky season. That's Grant. I'm Jake. We're your hosts.
We are your hosts.
There you
That's
go.
that's the new word for it that I've just learned today. No,
Wow.
that would be a weird alternate
It'd be a
universe thing.
strange, compartmentalized lack of knowing. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's going
So,
on?
anyways, all of that space junk aside, we can move on.
Space junk.
But we are in the Halloween theme mood-ish, you know?
There you go. It doesn't really feel like it's coming up.
It really
Am I
does.
wrong in saying that?
To me, it does. I'm kind of forcing it to by just surrounding myself by Halloween things.
Oh, yeah. And you gotta, like, just constantly have horror shit going on the TV all day.
But
Like,
as long
just
as
in the
that's,
background.
as long as that's happening, everything seems up to speed, I guess, normal.
Yeah. Candy prices are up.
We had some good-ass candy. Oh, it was so good. I love candy.
What kinds?
They're like, it was this huge box of like full ass Reese's bars. Like I'm talking Reese's cups the size of your palm. Like
Jesus
they're
Christ.
huge. They're all different types. Apparently now, this is how uncultured I am in the Reese's universe. I
You know nothing of Reese's.
I did not know that they are now infusing their own Reese's Pieces into Reese's cups.
Was that like a turducken sort of situation?
It is an experience unlike any other. The way I equate it, think of if you gotta like Reese's to start. So if you like a Reese's, think of this: you're biting in.
You cannot be allergic to peanut butter.
You're biting into a nice fresh Reese's cup, right? The one thing that's missing is that slight crunch, and I'm not talking about like a salad crunch. I mean like
Just
an
a light
M&M.
little,
The small little snap you get.
yeah, a little crisp, a little shatter.
It in no way changes the flavor. It just adds in some crunch texture and a little bit more peanut butter. So it's a win-win. You don't lose anything.
That sounds great. So you have those, is what you're saying.
I did. They're no
they're
longer
in your belly.
present.
All right.
No, they are now somewhere in a drainage system.
They're somewhere in Lake Michigan.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But anyways, all of my poop aside, we will now.
Well, let's not exclude all of it.
It's time. You know, we were talking about this the other day. It's time to just go back into it. We did cover the Demon House, but we more so did the documentary than the actual
I think it was
events.
It was just a framing for us to talk shit about Zach Baggins, I think.
It was. It was nothing. It was.
We were young. We didn't know what we were
It
saying.
was. There were nothing. But
We don't know.
the documentary obviously is a big part, but we figured why not talk about at least the personal experience that people had in this
Yeah.
home,
Let's pull the mask back from the documentary.
aside from the magical Zach Baggins. But yeah, we
Truly
all know
a magical man, a
he.
young lad.
I disagree with his everything. Everything that he
Everything.
says, I don't believe.
You don't even like his cool shirts.
No, he
And,
wears
like,
tap out shirts.
hairdo.
I'm not against that, but to me, the people that wear those shirts, they wear them because they work out all the time, or they're in that life. He's a fucking ghost hunter.
He's in shape though, dude. He's pretty ripped.
He's a ghost hunter.
He's a handsome young man. He's just he's a walking hyperbole. That's all he is.
You know, after I get done with a long day of ghost hunting, I like to go to the gym and punch the bag and do a 7-hour jujitsu training
And I just
method.
pretend it's Pazuzu, and it just gets all my anger out.
It flows like butter from my veins. It just oozes potential. But I don't.
Ah,
I think it's obvious
Yeah.
I'm not a Zach Baggins fan. I like the show. I'm not going to deny that.
show's great.
Even the documentary.
I honestly don't even know what I don't like about him. I'm just I feel like I shouldn't. So I
He-
do. Not.
To me,
at
he
all.
seems like a poser. I could be incorrect in this assessment.
Who knows?
That's why it's an opinion, because it's very well could be wrong. But I feel like he is a straight
There's
up.
no way to test this, you know?
I just don't. I don't buy it. I don't buy his shtick. You know, Alex Jones. I could buy his shtick. Like he's
You
fucking
could buy
crazy.
Alex Jones's, but not Zach Baggins.
Not the things Alex Jones says, but the personality he is. I buy it.
So his
I buy him. I buy that that's a real person. Zach
All right.
Baggins, I do not.
So his commitment to the role.
He's like, I'm a hardcore, steampunk enthusiast that loves hunting for entities from other dimensions. It's like,
It's like
okay,
that may very well be true, but
okay.
you're just telling everybody.
None of this is sculpted in any way, shape, or form. I just don't buy it. That's just me. But all of him aside, the Demon House, it is interesting.
It is, yeah.
It's the perfect type of story for this type of year, or this time of year. I apologize.
Type of time of year for the podcast you're listening to.
It really flows
Yeah,
well.
It does.
That's when we get into it.
Let's get into it, dude. All right. Well, so yeah, let's go behind the documentary. See what happens.
No,
It is known, right, as the Amon's Haunting, but you didn't know that, right?
I mean,
Right. The Amon's Haunting. He was also referred to as the 200 Demon House, or simply the Demon House.
the two. I don't understand.
The 200 demons.
Where does the line get drawn? Where is it an acceptable number of demons? Like
I don't think any are acceptable, and the fact that there's 200, it's like, well, that's just ridiculous.
no, I'm saying
To the point where it's like, this
for a
is
person,
this
yes.
is so haunted.
I mean, in the demon universe, how many demons does it take to quantify as just a section of hell? There's 200 demons in this house. How is that not just hell
Like
on earth?
asking about like the property lines of hell and like the population
Not
like going on. Like
I
what?
guess
What do you
in
mean,
a
like
sense.
a region of hell?
I mean, the way I see it. Okay, this is the way I'm putting it. Right? Think of a house. Think if you didn't have a toilet and you just shit everywhere in that house, anywhere you wanted to, every time, whenever you wanted to shit.
It'd fill up so quick.
That house, after a while, becomes a toilet. It is no longer a home. It's a toilet. It might, in name, be a home, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
And to me, it's the same thing with the demon house. When does it go from a haunted house to just becoming a simulation of hell? There's got to be a definitive line, and clearly
I would
they're
say
saying,
the line is well before 200.
well, see, they're taking the stance that it's way past that by just saying it's a 200 demon house. It's like just throwing a number at it. They're like, nah, it's nothing. Come back when you got 1,000. You don't know demons. You've only had 200.
You think you have it bad?
You fool. You don't know what demons are.
Get out of here.
That's my question. Philosophical question of the day.
All right, we'll get to where the 200 number came from, but it doesn't really save it at all. But anyway, just pushing forward. It was an alleged haunting and demon possession that took place in Gary, Indiana in 2011, right? And though it wasn't until January of 2014 that the story was publicized and gained national attention due to Zach Baggins and his show.
That's kind of crazy. I wonder. I honestly, I don't know. I wonder if it was like a local before 2014, to the point where, because
What do you mean a local? Like a local legend or something?
they said it started in 2011. Don't you think by summer of 2012, someone around the area was like, "That house is haunted as shit."
Oh, dude,
and
we'll
it
get
like
to
got
that.
out. Like it's not just Zach
It's a
Baggins
word of mouth
brought it
thing. It's like,
international.
yeah.
He was the barrier that
He,
they had to cross.
He took it across the state lines.
Yeah, okay. All right.
You know?
I get that.
But, all right. Let's get into it, dude. The story begins with LaToya Amons, her 3 children. I couldn't find their names anywhere.
They're
Like, I'm
honestly
pretty
probably purposely not
Yeah,
used.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. But their ages are 7, 9, and 12. And also in the house was her mother, Rosa Campbell. They moved into 3860 Carolina Street in Gary, Indiana, November of 2011. Right? So they're all moved in. This woman, her 3 kids, her mom, so great. Mere days after moving in, the Amons began having a fly problem, which is weird. Like literal swarms of flies began appearing in the house.
Yeah, I've had that happen to relatives, but it was like a one-time
scary
thing.
as shit. What do you mean?
It wasn't constant. It was like it happened, and we took care of the problem. We put up like fly paper and like sprayed it, and then it was fine. So it was like, this is natural. But the way I'm envisioning this
Probably
swarm
just a
was
puddle of water.
they got rid of it, and it just continued coming back. It was like, fuck.
No, it did. So it's fucking weird. And also, it was weird because given the time of year, it was like November in the Midwest. bitches ain't alive.
Yeah.
These flies are not.
They don't survive.
They
It's
don't.
very cold
Super
usually.
weird time for this to happen. And this was just the beginning, right? All these swarms of flies, and they kept killing them. They kept coming back. Over the months to follow, Latoya and her mother, Rosa, they reported regularly hearing footsteps on the basement steps late at night.
Okay.
Right? Isn't that just terrifying? As well as witnessing the basement and kitchen doors, like the ones leading into one another,
Yeah.
creaking open by themselves.
Okay. Okay.
So that
We're
none of this
cooking
is
now.
good. None of this is good stuff.
We're cooking. I have commentary. I'm gonna actually pepper a little bit of it in here.
Go ahead,
I
dude.
have
Just fill it in where you feel.
Again, I have no stake in this story. I'm just merely being a skeptical douchebag for the purpose of this podcast.
Yes, okay. All
They
is as
are
it should be.
they are batting 1,000 right now for every trope that is in a ghost story ever. They're batting 1,000. I'm not saying it's fake. I'm in no way endorsing that thought. All I'm saying is, if you think it's fake, I get it from this point in the story. I get it.
All right.
I just wanted to pepper
All
that
right.
in there.
No, I can take that.
Make sure everyone's heard. We want all of you.
You
to be
want
heard.
all the sides.
Yes,
You
it's
know?
important to have that.
Yeah. So things just kept escalating from there. They're batting 1,000. They're still going. Rosa claims that on a particularly terrifying night, that a black shadowy figure of a man appeared in her room and quickly dispersed in front of her. And
That's terrifying.
it is fucking the worst thing. And the next day, some footprints were allegedly found on the basement steps where the family had been hearing the noises. All right, and it gets severe from here.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Well, we're chugging along
It's
here.
ramping endlessly.
It's getting there. It's starting slow. It's taking baby steps. It's like, oh yeah, pots and pans. Now we're talking world domination.
It's spreading.
It's moving.
It's spreading.
It's happening. All right.
It is.
I like
All
this.
right. So the footprints were found. From here, it gets severe. Latoya claims that all three of her children exhibited behavior of possession.
Okay.
Isn't that nuts, right? So here it is. On March 10th of 2012, there had been a sudden death in the family, and many of the family members, just from out of town, had gathered at the home. So there was a lot of activity. People were up around 2 a.m., which is when this happened. Latoya went into her mother Rosa's room where the 12-year-old girl, the 12-year-old daughter, she was in there with some friends hanging out. And she screamed upon opening the door to find her daughter there levitating above the bed. Just kind of levitating there.
All right. Okay.
And Latoya screams, right? So she attracts the attention of the other family members in the house, who quickly came to investigate, right? And witnessed the spectacle as well. The group of witnesses then allegedly began to pray around the girl, who then she slowly began to unconsciously ascend or descend back down onto the bed.
Okay.
Then she woke up with no memory of it.
So, I'm speaking in layman's terms here. This is essentially the scenario that she finds herself in. She goes into the daughter's room and she's just floating. Terrifying.
She is floating above the bed, yes.
And then they begin to pray after probably a measurable amount of time, being freaked out.
Yeah.
Understandable. All right. That if you take this at face value, which I will. I'm not going to deny them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny their experience. So I will say this. I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, a religious man. If I ever saw somebody floating above a bed, I will begin praying. I will. So the reaction is there. I get it.
I like this side of your skepticism. You're just ending it with I would do the same thing.
I would.
It's good.
I could say, oh, I'm going to do this, and this. I will be so confused and worried and stressed. I'm just gonna. It's you pray and let you.
You just pray.
Before you pray, you make sure that they're not gonna physically assault you. You know, you watch your own stuff, and then
What are they gonna do? They're just floating there.
once you see that they're just suspended in oxygen, just floating,
just defying physics
um,
casually.
and they're not a threat to you immediately, yeah, then you start to pray. You definitely do. You don't. You, okay, yeah. What are you gonna do? Call the cops? Like the Ghostbusters aren't real. They're not gonna show up. You don't do anything. You pray. You just beg. I don't
You're
know.
just like, well,
Pray to something.
who are you gonna call the Ghostbusters? What's their fucking number? What is it?
Honestly, that is something that
Is that in the song? It should be if that's a true advertising jingle.
I'm shocked that isn't a business model. I'm sure it is in some places, but I'm surprised it's not a bigger thing. Like, there's got to be a market for that. There's a lot of people that believe in ghosts, and if they were to suspect that their house was haunted, instead of finding some stranger, it's like make a credible business that would investigate it. I don't know. MUFON exists. How does Goofon not exist? The ghost.
Goof on.
The ghost version. That has to exist.
I love that. No, yeah, goof on. All right.
But yeah, it's just a thought of it. It really makes the ghostly, unidentified flying objects. Goofos. Goofos. Honestly,
Yes, the goofos.
that's exactly what Latoya's daughter was. She was a goofo. She was a floating ghost. Of
Oh,
space
you
nothing.
goofo. That's so cute. I love that. Oh, God. All right, so as you could probably guess after this experience, it was the instant that the Amons, the family, they knew that they were dealing with something that they needed a little help with, right? Something evil and demonic.
Fair enough.
Right, it's a fair assumption at this point, right?
That is extremely reasonable. This is beyond our grasp.
Fucking A is what I say to that.
We need to enlist the help of someone else. I respect that decision.
Yeah, it's like,
entirely.
well, I can't handle this.
That's fair.
All right, so the two Amons and Campbell, the two contacted several mediums, right, that all confirmed that there was an immense amount of evil within the home, stating that there were at least 200 demonic entities.
Okay.
So that's where it comes from.
Okay.
Infesting the house.
Again, this goes back to Goofon. I do not trust.
It always goes back to goof on.
I do not trust this woman. I've gotten in plenty of arguments with Mitch specifically about this concept. Psychics are the one thing I do not believe until it's something I can actually say I've witnessed. So I will never believe a psychic. A psychic can tell me anything until I actually see something happen with that information. I will never believe them. So for her to say it's 200 ghosts, she probably just wanted to get paid a little bit extra. Because she's upcharging for the 200 ghost charge as opposed to the 150 package. Like, there's a jump there. She's paying more money.
No, it is true. It is true. And maybe they kind of felt that way, too, because they also contacted a number of churches.
Yeah, that's
right?
smart.
Yeah, so they contacted a number of churches in the area, but only one allegedly was willing to help them out. In June of 2012, Reverend Michael Maganot.
Father Maganot.
Maganot.
No, it's Maginot. Remember? Don't you remember the documentary?
Maginot?
The cop. I just remember the cop. He's like, "Yeah, an Officer Maganot," and we just laughed because it was like everyone else.
Is that
was
not
like,
right?
Everyone. Zach Baggins called him Maginot. Father Maginot.
Well,
I only remember that because that guy was like, "It's Maganot." I was like, "That's hilarious." No one else says it that way. It's Father Maganot from here on out.
Yeah, all right. I'm just going to call him Maganot.
No, it's perfect. I like that better.
There we go. All right, so he was a reverend, right? And in 2012, he had been authorized by the bishop of the Catholic Church's Diocese of Gary to perform a total of 3 exorcisms on the family. Pretty insane. On Latoya and 2 of her children.
And this is where I'm suspect because I could be misinformed. I really could. As far as I'm aware, Catholicism is really the only religion that uses exorcism nowadays. I mean, like, I know Islam does as well. Judaism has similar things, but
I feel like everyone's
Christians-
just more aware of
yeah,
like the Catholic use of it, just because of like horror films and shit.
right. Like your typical like exorcism is usually Catholic, like Roman Catholic. Christians are kind of on the fringe of that. They're really not into that. So I remember a time. I remember reading that any legitimate exorcism has to be approved by the Vatican. So not necessarily the Pope,
Yeah, we've definitely like talked about this before. I don't know, man.
but
Like,
the someone at the Vatican. There has to be approval through the Vatican, and to me that would make sense. But then again, this doesn't. Perhaps this was a more. We're here in the Midwest. It's kind of hard to paint a picture if you're not from around here, because you can drive down a 10-mile road and run into 5 churches, and they all preach something different in the exact same religion. So
yeah,
this could very easily just be an unorthodox Christian church that gets down on it. But then my thought is the fact that they went through the diocese, which would be the Catholic diocese,
yeah,
would symbolize that they're Catholic, and
yeah.
therefore
The Catholic
would,
Church's Diocese of Gary.
and then therefore they would need Vatican approval. So I don't really understand.
I don't know. Maybe like this bit of information that I have is like the last step in like a chain that wasn't mentioned of like people giving consent through.
It
You
very
know,
well could have been.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
it
'cause I
did
don't-
come from the Vatican and like
I don't know that
they got
world.
permission to give him permission. I don't know.
Never met an individual that has performed or been performed on, or even been around anyone that's
That you
had
know
that
of.
scenario.
That you know of.
So I can't say I'm aware of the inner workings of how an exorcism comes to be, but that always kind of made me question it immediately. That just the local archdiocese was like, "Yeah, that's fine, go ahead." It's like there's a
And he did it-
hierarchy, you know?
Yeah. But he did 3 of them. Fucking
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fucking 3? Are you joking? There's so many.
But then I remember, maybe I'm remembering incorrectly. I remember them, I want to say they performed one in the church, like in the building of the church, because Zach Baggins was there.
It was the one on Latoya, yeah.
And yeah, that in itself is already highly unorthodox. I've never heard of you have to drive somewhere to get exercise. Like they
Dude,
come
so
to you, you know.
So that one like ended up being considered like an exorcism, but it wasn't like planned to be that way. She was just gonna be like blessed by him before they like all went to the house and they did it. But he pressed a crucifix against her forehead and she like started convulsing and shit, and like she said she experienced a pain like that was like equivalent to childbirth.
Yikes.
That's what she said happened. So they were just like, was that an exorcism?
This is a great time.
So that was one of the 3.
This is a great time to plug some reality for everyone.
Dick.
No, I mean tangible things,
Yeah,
not in that
sure.
sense. Tangible information. Let's say you are being possessed by a demon, okay? I am an ordained minister through the Universal Life Church.
Oh yeah, you are.
It is official. I have performed a wedding ceremony.
I gave some of your cards out the other day.
All the
You
legal
might be getting some calls.
That's fine with me. All the legal documentation is up to date. I am bar cleared. So if you need one, I will perform an unorthodox. Let's say you can't get the proper channels. They're like, we can't get this exorcist. I will gladly do it. I will be your exorcist. No problem at all. I'm just putting that one out
I
there.
love that actually. I never even considered that you could do that.
Oh yeah, I could
I
do.
have a lot more respect for you now.
I technically have the power within my ordained ability to perform anything. I can do anointing
Power
of the
is
sick.
invested in you. Yeah.
I'm able to do whatever I feel is necessary. So that will come in handy when we actually start the cult, because
Yeah.
once we do that, I'll be a father already. So I'll be like, okay, I'm Father G. I'm here.
Father
Priest.
G.
The priesthood has welcomed me.
Can we just like say G Papa or something like that?
Anyways, I did not mean to. I realized that as I said it. I was like, how about some reality? I didn't mean it that this is all fake. I meant it more in the sense of, if this is affecting you, please contact me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you get it. You get it. He gets it, guys. It's okay.
He gets it. Everyone gets
It's
it.
fine.
Oh god. So he went fucking hard on these three exorcisms, right? The first 2 were in English, and the final one was performed in Latin. This guy was going like all out,
That's old school, man.
right? Performed it in Latin during Latoya's exorcism. Yeah, he like pressed it against her forehead. We went through that. Her children said that they were said to have gained deeper voices and bulging eyes when possessed. Whenever this would happen, because apparently it became like a normal thing.
It was just your
It was just started happening, and it just didn't stop happening.
Damn it! The kid's got possessed again.
Son of a bitch.
Call the number. Is speed dial 7. Just do it. He's here. He'll be here in an hour.
Some of the stories are crazy. Like during one of them, her 9-year-old son like vividly started just like describing to her what it felt like to die. Like this long like pontification on death and how it feels in this like guttural voice with bulging eyes. Insane.
This demon doesn't really think humans are that smart, because dying is kind of subjective, you know?
Well, yeah, but I think it's to spread fear. It's mental terrorism.
It is. It definitely is, but it's still like, my first thought, I'd just be like, man, that is so subjective. What if I just decided to blow my head off right now? You wouldn't be able to describe that to me, because you're describing something completely different. You don't know. You don't know what's going to happen.
The angle, everything matters. Jesus Christ.
What do you know, math? Who are you, Pythagoras? Get out of here, you demon.
Yeah, get out of here. God. The same son, also, when he was like, he had the deep voice, he had the bulging eyes, he fucking walked backwards up a wall.
Okay.
And levitated there.
That's different.
Defying physics once more.
That's
but
different.
As if gravity pushed him onto the wall.
Have you ever heard of moon boots? I've never quite worked out the inner machinations of how they operate.
Those things have like just shattered kids' ankles for 10 years. That's all they've
But
done.
I think that is one of the side effects of overuse of moon shoes, is backwards levitation up walls. I've read many accounts
This
of
family does not have time for moon shoes.
All right, that's a fair assessment. They don't have time for luxury items. They're being fucking tormented.
Yeah, dude, he just walked backwards up the wall. God, that was her 9-year-old son. Her 7-year-old son, he once grabbed her 9-year-old son's throat, strangling him for a really long time, an alarming amount of time, until 2 grown adults had to pry him off of his brother.
Yikes.
Isn't that terrifying? Just trying to kill your brother.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there, but never to the point of
Never
doing
like
anything
to where
about
you're
it.
worried
It's
about
more
it.
just
you
like,
know?
man, that guy's really pissing me
It's
off.
like, man, I'm just trying to make a point.
And then in like 5 minutes, you're just like, who gives a shit? Like,
I don't
you
even
just
have
move
a
on.
brother.
You know, life's happening.
Yeah. All right, so the exorcisms were performed. All right, time's gone on. The exorcisms were performed. Not much was appearing to change. And the haunting began to affect the family's life outside of their home, right? Throughout the time.
I could fucking imagine.
No,
okay?
It leaks out, you know? If there's problems at home, everyone can tell.
Think of it this way. When I have a bad shit, you know, when my day starts out bad and I get like a rough shit and I don't feel good.
A rough shit.
My entire day is altered. If I was being bombarded by demons, of course there would be some side effects of me being in public.
No, yeah, you might be a little on edge.
I might be slightly irritable, and I think I'm allowed that.
Short fused, maybe. Yeah, dude.
Totally acceptable. So next time you're at Chili's and someone pisses you off, some guy or some woman is yelling too loud, or their kid's acting up, and you're like, I just want to have a nice fucking meal. Be thankful, because maybe they have some demons in their house and they're trying to live. You know, they're just
trying to have a quiet meal without the screaming in their ears.
Oh, the constant blood curdling eeks from the stairwell.
The levitating children in the eyes.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right, so throughout the time that all this phenomenon was occurring, Latoya and her family had called the authorities on many occasions when they felt particularly, they were particularly unsafe in their homes. Police had originally thought that Latoya was just kind of looking to create a horror story to sell for a hefty hunk of change. Hollywood or something?
I think it is also a relatively valid criticism, at least in the out front beginning, because you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know who to believe or what to believe.
Yeah, exactly. Like at first, you're going to be skeptical, right? But as time passed, they began witnessing activity in the house for themselves. They were there so often, right?
Some might even say paranormal activity.
Some paranormal activity. Maybe that movie is just what we're talking about.
It means a pair of normal activities. So perhaps golfing and tennis.
And there are 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. All right, police, yeah, they thought that she was just trying to sell a story, but then they started seeing shit. And to this day, a lot of Gary police officers refuse to set foot on the property.
Yeah, I believe
They
it.
were turned to believers.
Hey, I believe. If I was a cop and I saw some shit like that, I'm like, this is way above my pay grade.
I'm not answering this call anymore.
I don't even really deal with humans that just scream and slam doors, but now I got to deal with a fucking ghost. I'm not interested.
And there's supposedly 200 of them. Where are they keeping all of them? Where are they? Where's the storage for
Probably,
these demons?
what do you think? You get a couple in the washing machine, maybe
Like
one
3.
maybe like one in the water heater.
Yeah, they probably like it in there.
You could fit some ghosts in there. You could do
All right,
it.
yeah, Tetris.
They'd have to get
Tetris
bored
that
of each
bitch.
other though, because they're so close. They really have to be a tight knit group of ghosts, or maybe
Yeah.
they all. Who fucking knows? I'm going too deep
I don't
into
know,
something
man.
no
All
one
right.
knows.
Well, the frequency of police visits to the Amons residence, right, paired with the fact that there were 3 young children living there, quickly caught the attention of the Indiana Department of Child Services.
Yeah, I could
Naturally.
imagine.
All these things, it just follows. It makes sense. They began making regular visits to the home, right? And a caseworker was even present when Latoya's 9-year-old son walked backwards on the goddamn wall.
Okay.
She saw this happen. He was in a report. And so the DCS found Latoya guilty of neglect for not sending her children to school regularly. But it's sort of weird because it's like their home life is insane. They're literally being possessed. I don't know.
Right. And
How do you feel? What's your opinion on that? It's like,
well,
would you send your kids to school if they were just possessed or something?
I'm going to say
It's
this
like, do you think I should release them onto the world?
in the steps and the eyes of DCS in this scenario. You got to take into account a lot of different things here, and people might not know this. I'm sure a lot of people do know this that listen to this. Gary, Indiana, is not necessarily New York, New York. It's a very underwhelming experience. It's very run down and corrupt.
There's a college
It's
on the
true.
outskirts, and there's that car wash that says hand jobs.
Mm-hmm. It's
That's
true.
cool. That's fun.
I'm not like saying it's like this terrible place. It's definitely not one of the safer areas in the country, and that's just fact. So what you have to take into account here is they're going to hear some crazy shit from people that live in Gary in a very 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 highly populated low income area. They're going to get some wild stories, and if you're looking at this through a government lens where your job is to monitor children and how they are treated at home, and you see that, there's a lot of people living in this very small house. The mom is constantly going on about demons and their children being possessed, and she's not sending them to school. You're going to have to look at the mother at some point.
I'm gonna say it doesn't look good.
It doesn't.
It doesn't look good.
Everything is against her right now. Whether
Yeah.
her story is true or not, it sounds too insane to believe. And you're kind of fucked. Like there's nothing you're gonna do about that.
She was fucked because they took her children. They took them away, telling her that that she had to find a regular source of income. I guess she didn't have a job, and a different place to live, an appropriate housing, situation for him before she could get her kids back. It took 6 months, but she got them back. Right, she regained custody, and the family moved into a new apartment where they have since not had a single problem with ghosts or possession.
All
And
right.
the DCS closed their case in 2013.
Well, it has a relatively happy ending. There's a lot of
It kinda
bumps along
does,
the
yeah.
road.
But then, like right after the case was closed, a year after, it was 2014, and fucking Zach got a hold of the story.
Yes.
And he purchased the property over the phone, sight unseen. And he started filming, and 3 years later, 2018. I didn't realize it came out in 2018, that movie.
Did it really?
Yeah.
That's kind of
I was like reading that. I was like, no shit. That's like what. So we must have watched it like right when it came out.
We had to have, because I remember. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's about 2 years ago, give or take.
Crazy. But yeah, it was like I didn't realize also that it was 2 hours long. God damn. It was a 2 hour long horror documentary Demon House, right? There we've talked about it. Over the course of filming, they all became very thoroughly convinced of the house is evil. There you go. And the movie ends with Baggins demolishing the house, taking a piece of the basement steps foundation for his personal collection of haunted items.
Ooh.
So it's just an abandoned property now. No one dares build on it.
All right. Yeah,
Because
that
of
makes
the
sense.
flies and demons.
I would not build on there at all.
I would not either.
Would not build on this at all.
I remember Mitch was doing work out there, I think. And he was like, dude, I drove past it the other day.
I was there.
I saw it. There's like a tree stump.
There's 3
whoa.
demon houses. It's like, what? But, okay,
I
so
drove past the demon house and hit a deer.
what we are... I'm changing the pace a little bit here. This is Halloween-esque. It's more goofy fun.
So moving away from the demon house, the
Yeah.
Amons.
I want a little palate cleanser in between. This is just one nugget of information I've learned this week. There's that movie Stitches. We've talked about it before with the clown.
Yeah.
Where they had the eggs of all the clowns.
Oh, I know the eggs.
I did not know that was a real practice. That
What?
In order to claim your makeup as a clown, to make it like a copyrighted thing, in the professional clown community, you have painted onto an egg, and it's added into their Hall of Fame.
That's awesome.
And they're all in there.
That is so cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, I did not know that was real either, but it is real.
That's amazing.
With that being said, that was just a little palate cleanser. We're going to talk about Jeff. All right? And I know what you're thinking.
Jeff, huh?
What the hell is Jeff?
Jeff?
Jeff.
Are we talking about Jeff?
Jeff is a talking mongoose.
Yeah, he is.
I don't really... Yeah, his name's Jeff. G-E-F.
Jeff the Talking Mongoose.
Yeah, he's the talking mongoose, or sometimes they call him the Dalby Spook in his local area.
That sounds crazy.
Okay, so this story, just a quick run around for you. It is a very quick little tidbit. It's more just interesting.
Let's hear it.
So the family, the Irving family, were the people that were affected by this talking mongoose, and they were living. They had a farm that was located at Cation's Gap, near the hamlet of Dalby on the Isle of Man. Okay,
These are all very, like, beautiful things to say.
it's a really, really fancy fucking way to say
It's very sing-song.
they're a small island outside of the United Kingdom. They're like a sovereign nation
Sounds exotic.
outside of the UK, but it sounds better this way.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to roll back the clocks to the year 1931. All right, are you there yet? Are you in the year 1931 yet? You should be.
What?
I've given you appropriate time.
Whoa.
So we have James and Margaret Irving and their 13-year-old daughter, Viori. Or Vory. I don't know how to fucking say it.
Sounds very medical.
Voyrrey. Or no, Voirrey. Vory? Vory? I don't know.
Voré.
Whatever.
Voré. Something
So-
like that.
Yeah, it probably is.
I have no
Vory.
idea. Voré.
So it's September of 1931. They're all just living their lives, and they started hearing what they claimed persistent scratching, rustling, and noises that were coming from behind their farmhouse's wooden wall panels. And
Okay.
at first they said the noise resembled a ferret, a small dog, or even at sometimes a small baby.
Wow.
This is where it gets crazy. The Irvings say that on one particular night, the noise, whatever was creating this noise, introduced itself, and it called itself Jeff.
Well, like in English?
Yeah, it said, it told them that his name was Jeff, and he was a mongoose that was born in New Delhi, India, in 1852. So,
I'm Jeff. I'm a ferret. I was born in India. What else do you want to
so
know?
we're working with an 80-year-old ferret that was born in India, and his name is Jeff, and he's currently worked his way into the Irving family's house.
See, I was thinking rats before, but it's an Indian ferret that talks.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where it gets even crazier. They said that the Irvings claimed that Jeff communicated to them that he was an extra clever mongoose.
Ooh.
But then other times he referred to himself as an earthbound spirit and a ghost in the form of a mongoose. However, the one that was most publicized after the story broke was, quote, I am a freak. I have hands and I have feet, and if you saw me, you'd faint. You'd be petrified, mummified, turned into stone, or a pillar of salt, end quote.
Holy shit.
So the Irvings said that Jeff, they kind of had a little deal going with Jeff, that Jeff was the watchdog. He was taking care of the house, you know.
He's writing poetry for the newspaper.
On a couple occasions, they had forgotten to put the fireplace out, and Jeff kindly did that for them. He made sure it was all put out. If somebody overslept, Jeff would quietly nudge them awake in the morning. Sometimes mice would get into the house, and Jeff would hunt them down and eat them for his food. And on other occasions, the Irvings would give Jeff biscuits, chocolates, and bananas. And sometimes, if they were feeling extra nice, they would fill a saucer with random food, and they would suspend it from the ceiling because Jeff would only eat when no one was watching. So they would just hang it there in the ceiling.
Wait, so was it clarified that can we see Jeff, or is this just the voice claiming to be a ferret?
No.
What do you mean? No,
no, you can. The Irvings,
you can?
the Irvings and other onlookers have claimed to have seen him. According to Vory, the daughter, don't know the name. I'm gonna fuck it up bad. She was the first to see Jeff, and she said he was about the size of a small rat with yellowish fur and a very large bushy tail.
That sounds adorable.
So after all this happened, Jeff became extremely popular in tabloid news, like what their equivalent to the Inquirer.
Well, it's very sensational.
People were loving it. They were all going over there to check it out, right? And people showed up, and a lot of them say they heard Jeff's voice. Some even said they saw him. And some people obviously were against that. They said this was all false, all of this nonsense. We'll get into that in a minute.
No, that's what they said.
James Irving died in 1945, and Margaret and her daughter decided to leave the home, and they had to sell the farm at a loss because of all of the news that was surrounding their house. Leslie Graham, who was actually an actor, he had bought their farm, and the first thing he did when he moved in is he claimed that he shot Jeff. Leslie Graham had he had a mongoose that he claimed he shot, and that it was Jeff.
Okay.
But the description did not match the other descriptions of Jeff with the yellowish fur and kind of small. So Vory, she died in 2005.
Oh shit, dude! The Sox won the World Series that year.
She won in 2005, and up until her death, she never claimed that this was a fabrication. She always said that Jeff was an experience that she had, and she could never explain it.
Jesus fuck.
So I'm not really going to get into much to the key players here. Let's just say that obviously people started showing up and looking into this story. Investigators of all kinds, both real and not.
That's probably why that guy who moved in after him shot a ferret and was like, "He's dead. Just get off my stop knocking at my door.
Pretty much.
Get out of here."
So a couple people were down there, and they had allegedly had paw prints, teeth marks, and a sample of hair from Jeff. And they ran all the tests. The hair belonged to the sheepdog that was James Irving's.
Nice.
The footprint, that's almost even funnier. It's a paw print, and pretty much what happened is they said there's no way this is real, and what they figured out is that it was the paw print of a dog that somebody then took a stick and made more indentations into the footprint.
What? With the extra indentations, like bulging veins in the pads of the feet, like what? What the fuck?
Fun little, just for the skeptics out there, if you don't want to believe in a talking mongoose, I get it. So people that visited this house, they realized that they had double walls and panel covering. So what this means is that there was a lot of space in between wall to wall. There was room enough to move, essentially.
Yeah.
And what they equate this to is all of this open space in the layout of this house. It turns these walls into the perfect speaking tube, as they say. You would be able to yell into a horn-type device on one end, and the sound would ricochet throughout the home and appear in other areas. So they have chalked it up to nothing more than a grandiose trick to get attention.
Did they find horns? Show me the horns.
Horns?
Where were the horns that making all these calls
they
through
did
the
not.
walls?
There are pictures of the family. There's sketchings of Jeff. Jeff kind of looks like a squirrel, to be honest. They have pictures of the house. He really just looks like a squirrel.
The squirrel man.
But yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, we gotta worry about talking mongoose. You know what I'm saying?
I really want to believe that they exist.
I think they might.
And he didn't seem to be doing any harm. He was just kind of helping out around the house. So this is just great. Like, honestly, if this is a great story.
You're damn right it is.
It means nothing but good things.
But I thought that was a little fun one.
I love it.
To end us on, get us off some of the spooky demons. Get more into the fun side of Halloween.
Spooky dookie. Yeah.
A talking mongoose monster that lives in the walls is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's gold.
Yeah. A family being haunted and then the custody of children being taken away. You need something like this afterwards. Some ferrets.
Yeah.
Mongoose. Mongeese. Is it mongeese? The plural?
I think it's probably mongoose.
Mongooses? Or
No,
just
it's like moose, mongoose.
And like deer?
Yeah.
The plural of moose is meese.
Oh, yeah, if you're fucking an idiot. God.
Oh, fuck you, dude. Jesus Christ.
Hurt my feelings. I'm sorry.
Sick of you today.
I'm sorry, Jake.
God damn it.
But with all that being said.
Isn't that scary?
That is effectively our episode for this week.
It is.
It's too. I'm not going to say it. We'll say it. We'll give you the announcement next week. We got some cool news happening.
Yeah.
But it's nothing. Nothing's changing. Everything's fine.
Nothing's changing. Everything's just gonna be good.
It is official. It's already official. This announcement. But we just wanna. We got to tie up some loose ends on our point. So
we'll give you that little hint and let it steep. See if you can figure it out.
Yeah. And next week,
if you can, we'll just announce it.
Next week we will have our Halloweeny episode.
It's fucking approaching, dude.
Yeah, it
is approaching.
A week from tomorrow is Halloween.
That's insane to me.
A week from Saturday.
I work that day.
That sucks, dude.
Oh.
Halloween's the shit.
I know.
But, yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll get you your Halloween episode, and then after that, we'll just, we'll tell you. We'll tell you. What episode are we doing after that? I know what it is.
Ramsey.
You don't have to whisper it.
Is it Ramsey?
Yeah.
It's John Benet Ramsey. I was just more guessing.
Oh, yeah, you were 100%
all right.
right.
I was totally right. My memory didn't fail me this time.
We'll be getting into the scope of true crime with John Benet Ramsey. This is November, okay? We got another week. We're going to get you your Halloween episode. Don't worry.
Yeah. Again, John Benet is not next week.
No.
It is the week following.
I just wanted to give you a little
we're not
going
to tell you.
Be ready for it.
Yeah.
So effectively, that is our episode. We will be back next Friday with a bitchin' episode.
It's true.
Check us out all over the internet. We're up on Stitcher now. I don't know if you guys like Stitcher.
Look at that.
But if that's an easier thing to use, we have that. We're cooking there.
Hey, there you go. There's also the show on Patreon that we are going to be recording on Tuesday.
That's very
this
true.
upcoming Tuesday. It's a bi-monthly thing going on, so then there's a link to the Patreon below. Also follow us on all our shit, right? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and
Mm-hmm.
startacult@gmail.com.
Damn right. All right, we'll be
Ooh,
back
yeah.
next week, everybody.
All right, good night.